Hello everyone, welcome back to the Drone Wars. Now, this is going to be episode 2, and this is going to be a very short episode. Instead of recording as I'm updating everything, I'm going to show basically the aftermath of whatever actions happened. I'll basically just summarize what happened on the board, and I'll also be showing the battles that happened in each video. Now, I'll just tell you right now, no battles happened in this, well, in this turn or episode. However, whenever battles happen, I will put them like later on in the video after the synopsis of what happened on the board. So I'm going to go ahead and start by giving the synopsis of what happened. So each of the factions have kind of spread out a bit here, and I'll go through one by one exactly what happened. So to start off with, in the new turn, everyone got their budget added to their total amount of money, and then they decided to start to basically go one by one in order. So with the new Galactic Alliance here, um, they decided to spread their fleet out into this direction towards the first quadrant. So they started invading this territory over here. You can see they reached the ocean here, the Reach Ocean, conveniently. And then they began making two more fleets, which are made the majority of Corvettes. So they have a very, very powerful set of fleets there. Then what happened was that the Federation over here, they decided to make some new fleets and move one of their fleets down here. And of course, that allowed them to kind of increase their the amount of income they can make. So they're starting to spread out in that direction on both sides. I guess the reason why they're doing that is because they want to have a solid defense on those two ends while they spread out in this direction over here. John Field over here, they decided to retreat their fleet from here and move it over here. And basically they made another fortress world. So John Field Technologies essentially blockaded this entire area here and made sure that if someone tries to go after their homeworld, they have to go through one of these fortress worlds. So they have a very well protected homeworld. Unfortunately, that means that their income is not so great because they don't have any colony or mining worlds. But as a bonus, they did make another fleet that's full size, and then they made a much smaller fleet. So a very, very weak fleet. They're mostly just like exploration fleets. So I'm pretty sure in the next episode, they're going to begin moving their fleets outwards, and they're going to begin spreading out. Hopefully. The next faction is Rogue Shipwrights here. Rogue Shipwrights has done quite a bit. They made an additional fleet, and they've moved up. And that allows them to have better protection on their homeworld, especially with the Federation starting to move down. However, their fleet that was originally here on the Mars Dunes, they decided to move even further left into the next quadrant, and they are right next to the Pirate Empire's homeworld. In fact, they have an even bigger advantage because they conveniently made a shipyard with a fleet directly next to the homeworld of the Pirate Empire. So they have a major strategic advantage, as long as they protect that shipyard at least. Delta Shipyards then came up next. They decided to make two large fleets on their, well, I say large, but it's relatively large. They made two fleets made of mostly Corvettes on their homeworld, which they will move in the next episode. Their existing fleet of fighters has actually moved down over here, protecting their homeworld. And this is just another colony world, so they have some pretty good income. They are actually right next to the Pirate Empire's own worlds here. So a combat situation could happen here if either one decides to move towards each other. Now, the Pirate Empire is in a really bad spot. They've been conveniently expanding out upwards, but they don't have any. They have a fortress world here, they have a colony world, and right up here they have mining worlds. So they have pretty good income, but they don't have any shipyards other than their home world. And with Rogue Shipyards being right next to them, and they don't have any fleets protecting their homeworld right now, if the Rogue Shipwrights does decide to move over to their homeworld, they're going to lose their only active shipyard, meaning that their existing fleets are going to have to move north and make a shipyard. If the Delta Shipyards decides to attack and successfully destroy their colony world, well, I don't know if their wing fighters will win against the Goliath fighters here, but if the Delta Shipyards successfully destroys the fleet, well then that means that the Pirate Empire will only have one fleet of fighters left in order to save their empire. Right now, the Pirate Empire's main objective seems to be to try to escape from the other factions and move north away from everyone. They're in a really bad spot here. They can probably, if their only shipyard actually works, they'll be able to make some more powerful ships to be able to push back, but right now they are in really deep trouble. They're completely surrounded and their fleets are nowhere near strong enough to be able to take on their enemies if the enemies decide to move up into their territories. It's going to end really badly for them if they don't move. They need extra shipyards. Now, the most interesting thing that's happened is that while there was no combat, there was some conflict. Now, the last faction up here, the Great Red Sun Empire, they decided to go ahead and make another fleet of fighters. They moved the other fleet of fighters over here, and then the existing fleet that was here decided to actually intercept, or not intercept, but basically cut the New Galactic Alliance's territory in half. So while their fleet was distracted expanded this way, they went up behind them and stole this planet from them. And of course, it was already a colony world, but they converted it into a colony world again. So now the rogue shipwrights have that increased income, and the New Galactic Alliance had their income decreased because of that. So yeah, the Great Red Sun Empire is in a really good spot, but they're also in a really bad spot. See, their fighters, by doing this, they've probably angered the New Galactic Alliance. And as I mentioned earlier, they have some Corvette fleets here. So if they send a Corvette fleet here, I don't think their fighter fleet is going to last very long. But we'll find out. I think that's about it. If I go into the back here, we can actually see each faction. I'll go over them one by one just to see where their income is at. So right here, the New Galactic Alliance, they have just 2 planets right now. Their budget is fairly small right now because they did spend a lot on fleets. They can still make some decent ships with that leftover budget. Their income is fairly okay compared to some of the other factions, so they're doing okay. The Federation here is doing really well. Their income is pretty high. They have a really good budget, and they have 3 planets, so that's really good. Johnfield Technologies is not doing fairly well. They have only 3 planets. They have starting income, so they have pretty much nothing, and their budget is pretty much pennies. They can't even afford a fighter. Rogue Shipwrights, they're in a pretty decent spot. Their income is pretty high. They have a very good amount of planets, so they're actually winning in terms of the amount of planets they have, and their budget is also pretty good. They have a lot of spare money left over. Delta Shipyards, they have a massive income. They have 3 planets, and their budget is okay. The Pirate Empire, their income is very good. They have 4 planets, so they are technically winning, and their budget is mediocre compared to how expensive their ships are. The Pirate Empire is in a really bad spot. However, they are doing really well in terms of the amount of planets they have. Strategically, they are at a disadvantage. Now, the Great Red Sun Empire here, their income is finally increased, so now they're able to, afford better things in the next episode, hopefully. And of course, their budget, they have enough budget to buy some fighters, but that's about it. They have 3 planets, and hopefully they'll be able to expand, or maybe they might lose some planets as the New Galactic Alliance might retaliate. I guess that's about it to say in this episode here. Hopefully in the next episode, we'll start to see some battles, and you'll actually see these battles on the planets in the exact locations where these battles will take place. So, yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next episode this coming Wednesday. Goodbye.